Live from Atlanta, special coverage of SEC Football Media Days 2025. This is Southeast Sports Plus with Simone Eli and Gerhard Mathangani.
Welcome into the College Football Hall of Fame in downtown Atlanta. Simone Eli, Gerhard Mathangani joining you for the last day, best day of SEC Football Media Days. Gee, it has been a wild ride, as it always is at this spectacular event here. But man, what a rewarding time as we are gearing up for the football season.
No doubt. And I think we get to this point of the year where we want to find out information on all of these teams.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know some more than others just based on returning starters, returning players, and everything else. But by this time of SEC Media Days, you feel well-versed on all 16 teams. You feel ready for the season. And you feel like, okay, in the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks after training camp, I'm ready for game one.
Yeah, and part of it has been the expert analysis that we've had here on Southeast Sports Plus over the last 4 days. Really proud of Next Star Nation showing out throughout all of the SEC. Rewarding content, no question. One-on-one interviews, exclusive content every single day. It's been really, really neat to see. And we are wrapping things up today with 4 teams, as 16 strong is the new motto for the Southeastern Conference. That began last year. And this morning, it was Missouri and Kentucky making the rounds.
Yeah, a couple of veteran coaches. You have Eli Drinkwitz back for another year at Missouri. Mark Stoops back for a 13th year there with the Kentucky Wildcats. And 2 programs that have had some success, some measure of success over the last few years. I know Kentucky had a down year last year. We'll jump into that more in just a little bit. But 2 programs that they've seen what their upside can look like, and they feel positive 2025 can be one of those years again. Yeah,
no doubt. It was always a little interesting during the final day of SEC Football Media Days because people start to go home. It gets a little bit more bare. You start walking around, and hey, it's like, okay, well, some folks, they got the teams that they needed. Obviously, they're moving on now, and they feel good about what's happening. But listen, it is pretty funny to know that we're here. We've been here for 4 days. It's been great. Eli Drinkwitz is a coach that every single year, the Missouri head coach, so entertaining. He's a guy that you know, I feel like you never know what's going to come out of his mouth.
Right.
And today we got just that.
Some things are happening here, Simone, that I really want to dive into. Because with Coach Drinkwitz, he's one of these guys that understands the moment. He understands that the media room has been packed all week long and it's dying down a little bit. You see suitcases that are lined up here at the College Football Hall of Fame because everybody's about to leave.
Of course.
So he understands that, hey, if I want to make some noise, I got to say some things here at SEC Media Days. You know that he came in with a mission, came in with a message. But to your point, you teed it up perfectly. He wants an expanded playoff, and he talked about other sports. Obviously, college basketball, 68-team playoff. He talked about the NFL, where more than 40% of the league makes it into the playoff. And he said, hey, college football should maybe address something, even though to some people it's like, what in the world are you talking about?
Yes, 30 teams, I think, is what he threw out. And the very beloved late Mike Leach once said that he wanted 64. Just let the fan bases enjoy it. And, of course, I mean, I would argue that college basketball is one of the most wonderful times. March Madness bleeds into April. Football, a game where you probably can't have a huge bracket like that necessarily. But Eli Drinkwitz says we need to go to 30. He said that and a lot more this morning. Take a listen.
In my viewpoint of it, I think we should go back and try to find more ways to include teams. How do we get more people involved? Because that's better for the players. That's better for the player experience to have more people involved in the potential to play for a championship. And it's better for the fan bases. I think we all would agree that the 4 college football playoff games at home campuses was a huge win for college football. We need to expand that opportunity, that energy and excitement. So my math could be wrong here, but if we did the 12, okay, and you had 4 automatic qualifiers. Everybody thinks that's limiting. It's not limiting if you think about it from, you take those 4 automatic qualifiers and you divide that up into 8 opportunities of 8 play-in games. So now you're taking the SEC's playing in for 8, you're taking the Big Ten's playing in for 8. Since we've expanded the bubble to 16, give 3 to the 3 to the Big 12, 3 to the ACC, 1. Now you've got 30 teams. 30 teams. Now we're talking about an opportunity for 30 teams, 30 fan bases to be excited and engaged in giving revenue. Got 30 teams with players who have access to compete for a championship. And so for me, I think that makes a lot more sense. again, when you're talking about the NFL playoff system, not only is it 14 teams, but you only have to be the best out of your 4-team division. So you got to compete against 4 teams in order to make the playoffs. Again, when you're at the University of Missouri, if you say, hey, you just have to finish in the top 8 to have a chance to play in the playoffs, that's a win every day.
I say this respectfully, but this is what I'm going to say. 2 things.
Yeah.
That was a lot of math.
It was.
Okay,
It was.
And that's great. And Eli is so smart.
Yes.
And when he talks, you can tell he's very cerebral in his speech. Okay,
Yeah.
so respect him for that. It's also spoken like a guy who one of our esteemed colleagues said, the only way that Missouri's going to be in the playoffs is if they move it to 30. And wow, did that soundbite really check that box?
And I think that he thinks, and I understand the math. I understand where he's coming from as far as other formats go. But it was hilarious because about 30 minutes after that, one of his players, Zion Young, who's here, who's a personality, by the way, you'll hear from him a little bit later on. He was asked about it, and he said, 30 teams. Coach, we'll be playing in March.
Literally.
It's exactly right.
Yes.
It's so hard to do, but I understand where he's coming from when he says it. But you're right, he's a cerebral guy.
Yeah.
But it made for one of the best comments here on day 4.
And listen, day 4, like I mentioned, I'm not trying to say we don't have heavy hitters. We got Arkansas coming up. Courtney Mims from our Fayetteville affiliate will join the show, and she's a wild personality just in herself. And we know that, listen, we're going to call the Hogs. You never know what you're going to get here on Southeast Sports Plus. Patrick Walsh going to join the program, show us around the College Football Hall of Fame. And so looking forward to a really, really great next 45 minutes here on Southeast Sports Plus. But next up, we are talking Kentucky. Mark Stoops, a guy that has really, really, really tried to put his stamp on this Wildcat program. And he is the winningest guy at Kentucky ever. However, that still is probably not what fans really want to see when it comes to this new day and age of what have you done for me lately, and are we in the playoffs?
Yeah, and Mark Stoops is a guy that understands that the fan base at Kentucky, let's just not mince words here, the fan base at Kentucky cares a lot about basketball. They love Big Blue Nation.
Even post-Coach Cal.
Yes, that's exactly right. But football's made a run here, and Coach said it on the stage. The only time that Kentucky had a run as good as they had in the previous years is when they had Bear Bryant back in the 50s and 60s. So they had a nice run. However, last year 4-8, and fans did not like that. And there was a certain energy there in Lexington that I think that, hey, we need at least to be still respectable in football, if not really good. And they look around at your neighbors. You look around at Kentucky, you look around at Missouri. You look around at some of the teams that should be on your level, and Kentucky should not. They feel like they should be on that 8, 9, 10 win plane. Another thing that happened, though, is a mass exodus. They have about 50 new players. Is the message falling on deaf ears? I think that's kind of what is going on there in Lexington. And it's been really interesting to hear Coach Stoops verbalize that throughout the offseason.
Yeah, and I think that when I listened to him speak this morning, it reminded me of Nick Saban. Now, Mark Stoops doesn't obviously have the resume that Nick Saban had. But he is of the older traditional type coaches. He knows it's really, really hard to do it in this day and age. I think he's great. I think he's great for the game. I don't know how much longer he's going to do this. Because I don't know. He's one of those coaches that might say, this is just not for me anymore in this style. And maybe someday he walks away. I don't think that's any discredit to what he has done at Kentucky as he enters year 13 or 14. I mean, he's been there for a good minute. But here's a little bit of what Mark Stoops had to say earlier today.
I think it's interesting as I talk a lot in the off season. I love how people grab certain aspects of things that I say, and it's no different than I've ever been. Zero change. I think one thing that I've had to, I think that's been a pleasant change for me is being consumed with certain aspects of this work that we have to do for the years, leading up to this. In particular, I think all of us have touched on it. I want to move past it, but the fundraising aspect of our job kind of gets a little bit, that's something that consumes us, and I think I want to get back to the coaching, and that makes me very happy. But motivated is something that I'm quite sure I've mentioned each and every year I've ever been a head football coach, and will continue to always do that. I'd like to use the word grateful. I think I'm very grateful to be here and happy. I had to get an ankle replacement surgery, so last year was a bear on me physically, and I got that fixed, and I feel great, and so that pain is gone when I'm on the field. So I'm very grateful and looking forward to this 13th year, but it's business as usual for us. It's business as usual for myself. I think I'll play along and let the media have their fun and take their shots, and that's cool with me, and I'm ready to just move forward.
And I'll explain the whole let the media take their shots, because motivated Mark Stoops became like a thing on the internet. And he said it a couple of times, especially after signing day, and it was almost became a joke, like, oh, coach is motivated. So what does that necessarily mean? And he's saying, I've used that word every year of my career when we were high, and now that we're low, people are making jokes and having fun, but he still thinks that he has a good team going into 2025.
Yeah, and I think that at the end of the day, when you are at this point in the season, nobody ever has a bad spring practice. Nobody ever has a bad media days. If you do have bad media days, well, I mean, listen, someone has to motivate a team.
Right.
Someone has to be the spirit of the team. And, of course, that's going to start from the top down. We know that he lost one of his best recruiters to rival Louisville. I mean, that never feels good. But you have to try to speak life into the pieces that you have, especially in a day and age where, man, it is so hard to coach right now. It's so hard to retain your roster in the ever-changing landscape of college football. Man, it is difficult. We've heard that every single day since we've been here in Atlanta over the last 4 days, Gerhard. It is not easy to do right now.
Right, and coaches aren't using it as an excuse, but they are explaining, hey, this is the new territory, this is the new ground. And I think Coach Sankey talked about it earlier as it relates to the big picture topics. This is not a horribly bad thing. It's just something you have to adjust to. And just like NIL and transfer portal and all that, connecting to the young generations here in 2025. It's also a different beast than it was 30 years ago. And so I think coaches are having to navigate that as well.
They certainly are. All right, Gerhard will rejoin the show here in just a little bit. But coming up next on Southeast Sports Plus, we will welcome in Courtney. Mims makes an appearance all the way from Fayetteville here, covering the Arkansas Razorbacks. Sam Pittman, the boys, had a chance to speak with Courtney earlier today. We'll have that, and maybe we'll call the Hogs. I'm not sure how to do that, but I think Courtney might try to show me. Plus, Patrick Walsh goes one-on-one with some historians here at the College Football Hall of Fame. Dennis Crawford going to tell us all about some incredible artifacts, a jersey that's older than us times 7. So listen, we've got plenty more here on Southeast Sports Plus. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Southeast Sports Plus, special coverage of SEC Football Media Days 2025 continues live from Atlanta.
Welcome back to downtown Atlanta, Georgia, with College Football Hall of Fame, Simone Eli, joined by the one and only Courtney Mims, all the way here from Fayetteville, Arkansas. What you don't know is that Courtney and I have been looking forward to this moment for at least 2.5 days since you arrived in Atlanta. Finally, it's our time to shine, right? You've been covering Arkansas for quite some time now. They're in Fayetteville. You guys are the premier station when it comes to the Hogs. What has today been like for you, and what's the vibe like for this team right now?
Well, it's been running around, lots of running around, Simone,
always,
and you know that from being here for the entire week. But we have just been running around with these guys today. Sam Pittman bringing along with him quarterback Taylon Green, defensive lineman Cam Ball, who is a hoot, by the way. We're going to get to that in just a second, and linebacker Xavier Story Jr. as well. And so the vibe around them today, honestly, I thought they would be a little bit more uptight, a little bit more media savvy. No, they're just having fun. They're going up to whoever they want to. They're talking to whoever they want to. I mean, it's just a great vibe here today with Arkansas. And maybe it's because they're one of the last teams to go.
Yeah, I'm going to listen to day 4. And we've already heard in the show, Eli Drinkwitz saying some wild things with the 30-team playoff. Mark Stoops, talking about his ankle surgery. I mean, you never know what you're going to get out of day 4. It's a little bit of everything. And so Arkansas comes in. And quite frankly, we want to give you something that's notable on this show as well, because I have heard of Call the Hogs for some time.
Okay.
And listen, I'm going to put you on the spot because I want to know what this is like. I feel like you're an expert. Okay. And so I want you to talk me through. I need to put my mic down for this. Like I need to.
You will. Okay. But
let
me explain to you. Do you know why they call the Hogs, Simone?
I have no idea. So all right, teach me.
For everybody out there, the why they do that weird chant that you see, one of the most notable chants in all of the SEC, is because back in the day, how you would call the Hogs is you would go, suey, suey. They would go, suey. like that. And that's actually how you would call the Hawks.
Okay.
So it turned into, well, now we've got to find a way to make it into a thing that everyone can do.
Suey.
So Woo Pig Suey. So do you want to do it?
Yes, I do. I'm going to put this right here. Yeah, I'm just going to put this down here, right here. Okay, can I sit? Can I sit for this? Okay, I'm just going to sit.
Oh, do you want to sit?
Yeah, I think I'm going to sit.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to sit.
We can sit.
Okay,
But we're going to put our mics down.
Okay, mics down. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to explain how to do this really quickly. Okay. You got
Spirit fingers?
No, they don't like when you do this too much. Okay, so you're
No spirit fingers. Okay, you go.
Pig Suey.
Okay, all right, let's try this
again.
again.
3 times.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to do it at least one time solid. Let's try this.
But you have to, that's the whole chant. You got to do it 3 times. 3 times?
Okay, all right. Is this like after touchdowns or what? Like,
You know, just anytime.
that nothing there? Okay, here we go. Okay, yep.
Pig
Suey.
One more time.
Pig
Suey. One more time.
What? Jeez, Lord almighty. Pig Suey.
Razorback.
I just hope that we have jobs with Next Door Nation at the end of that. But
You know,
frankly,
that's how you do it. You have to do it 3
we
times.
are just listen,
okay.
we are the heartbeat of the Southeast, and we need to lean in. And this is one of those things. Quite frankly, I'm very proud of this effort. So
You did a really good job.
look at us.
A+ on your
know what?
first one.
Thank you, and you're a great teacher. Thank you, Courtney. We're gonna
Gotcha.
take like a 10-second timeout when it comes to
Okay.
Arkansas, because you texted me earlier and you said I have something hilarious that just happened, but it was a Missouri player. Set this up for me, and then we're gonna roll the tape.
Okay. So I texted you because I walked in earlier this morning into the electronic media room here at the Omni Hotel.
Yes.
And Missouri, Arkansas, Missouri, they don't like each other,
Yeah,
So
sure.
I was kind of, paying half attention to
Yeah.
what this Missouri player was saying. And it was Zion Young
Okay.
who was up there. And he said something that had everyone turn to him and go, "What did you just say?" I think that's the only setup I can give you, Simone. So
Okay.
you want to roll the tape?
Let's roll the tape, guys.
You guys kept throwing around the term like alpha males in your locker room and within your team. Is that a thing, or can you elaborate a little bit more on that and what that means?
Let's see. I'm gonna do an animal example. If you're in a tiger, would you want to date a cat? No. You don't want to date a cat. You wouldn't want to. Well, of course, it's tiger's a cat. It's a bigger version of it. It's the cat. It's all around the stuff. But you wouldn't want to date a cat. Though, not something we bring. You know what I mean? So that's the difference. Like, it's more so of like, not in day. I mean, alpha male. Like, who? That's what we're recruiting. That's what we're standing on. Guys is alpha males. Guys is where their feet at. And guys is very vocal and want to compete. And have an edge on them. You know what I mean? So that's more so of being specific, you know what I mean? You wouldn't want to date a cat. You would rather date another tiger, right? Or a lion, something more manly. Yeah, so.
Okay. Wow, that was incredible. Do you want to date a tiger or a cat? So obviously this is a playoff of the mascots.
Yes.
And so they're using that in this. Hey, I'm not trying to break it all down. Look at me trying to like break this down so I understand specifically what an alpha male is. He feels like he's an alpha male because he is a tiger, Missouri tiger,
Correct.
instead of a Kentucky Wildcat.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
And we walked by him earlier today. I'm going to shout out to our photographer, Ron Gaines, over there. He walked by him and he was like, "Tiger man?" He goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Don't date cats." He went, "Don't date cats."
So Ron did? Ron's an alpha male, man. We know what Ron is all about. Listen, I mean, I agree. I mean, I don't really have a rooting interest necessarily, but I kind of like the alpha male. I consider myself an alpha female, if that's a thing. So,
Me too.
All right,
Me
here we
too,
go.
Simone.
And here we go.
Me too.
We're making it shine right here, guys. So listen, I love that. I love that from the Missouri player. We're going to somehow go from that and transition back into talking about Arkansas. I know you talked to some guys today, Courtney, when you said that it's a good vibe. Everyone's feeling good about life. What was it like just talking to these guys as they kind of toured the College Football Hall of Fame?
Yeah, well, like I said before, they were really comfortable. And I thought that was kind of interesting because Taylor Green, he's been here before.
Sure.
He was at SEC Media Days last year in Dallas. But Xavier Story Jr. and Cam Ball, this is their first media days. And I'll even give credit to Cam Ball. This is his hometown. He's from Atlanta. And his dad recently passed away.
Okay.
And I will give him some love here. He is opening every statement with talking about his dad. And he has a chain right now with his dad's face on it, giving a lot of love to him. And so I really, for somebody who has gone through that and to handle himself with the poise and composure of today, I have to give him a shout out because anyone who's been in that situation knows that that's really tough when all those questions you're getting
Yeah.
are about your father who just recently passed.
Yeah, it's unbelievably tragic. And I mean, these young men are already dealing with so much, as we know, when it's this changing landscape of college sports. And so to add, I can't even verbalize how difficult that would be for him to be here representing his father. I mean, that's, wow, hats off to him and his strength to be able to be here. In terms of some other guys maybe you spoke to today, who all did you chat with?
Oh,
What
yeah.
was that like?
Yeah, Xavier Sorey as well. I had a chance to talk with him too. He's a great guy.
Sure.
If you guys don't know exactly his backstory, coming over to the Hogs from Georgia.
Okay.
So he was a highly talented transfer when he came in, not this past year, but the year before that. And so he was excited to be at Media Days
Sure.
today. I had a chance to go on one-on-one with him. I think we might have a little clip of that
Yeah,
too,
I think we have. I think we're chatting with Cam Ball first.
Oh,
So I
okay,
think we're
okay.
let's hear from Cam Ball.
Yeah. Rapid fire questions with you on the escalator. I think we can do this. Cam, you love barbecue.
Love it.
All right, tell me your best barbecue recipe. Go.
My best barbecue recipe, I can't give you the details, but a nice plate of ribs, chicken, probably a turkey burger, and mac and cheese and baked beans.
Okay, a turkey burger? Do you season it or anything? Do you do anything fancy with it?
Mainly season it, but the most important thing is to spritz it. You know, keep your meat moist.
That is good advice right there. Cam,
Ma'am.
this defense this year, a lot of people talking about this defensive line as well. A lot of new guys with you.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about them? Who's going to surprise us?
The one thing I can tell you that we have a lot of hungry guys, ready to attack, ready to display what they've been working so hard for. You know, just the guys who got out the portal, and we have a lot of young guys that's eager and waited their time and waited their turn, and they're ready.
Why have you stayed loyal to the Razorbacks for so long?
Because the Razorbacks stay loyal to me. You know, the state of Arkansas in general, I've built so many bonds and made so many relationships. I feel like it was no point in me to leave. You know, just I can see Arkansas being somewhere that I can retire at. So it's just, I love the people and I love the state of Arkansas in general.
15.
Good stuff there from Cam Ball. Obviously feeling good about what this looks like, what the future looks like there for the Hogs.
Absolutely, and that's kind of the mentality right now of this team, is that they're all very excited for this season.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't believe in the Razorbacks this year. I understand that. They're not going to be picked high in the media poll, but I think this team is excited to prove people wrong.
Yeah, I know they talked to a couple of players. You mentioned just a minute ago another guy you had a chance to speak to here for the Hogs.
Yeah, Xavier Sorey, like I mentioned, coming to the Hogs from Georgia, and he was awesome today. We not only talked about the team, but also about what he likes to do in his free time. Where do you think you've taken the biggest jump in your game from last year to now going into year 2 at Arkansas?
I would say mentally. Mentally, I think I've gotten smarter and just learned the football more. You know, meeting with Coach T. Will and Coach Bright and, you know, just going over all my bad plays from last year and all my plays that I maybe got a negative on or something like that. So really just understanding the game more.
Xavier, I'm going to give you some fun questions, okay? Have you got a chance to play college football 26 yet?
I have one time. I'm really not a gamer, though, so I'm gonna start there. I'm really not a gamer. So
What do you like to do in your free time?
I like to fish and do things like that, ride four-wheelers, and kind of a country boy. I'm a country boy, so yeah.
Oh, I remember in Graceville. I remember. I was there. Okay, so I know you like to fish. Do you like to hunt a little bit as well?
I never hunted, never killed an animal before, so I want to, though. I want to go hunting, so hopefully one of my buddies can take me hunting. They see this. Come on, let's go hunting, man. Come on.
You got any good fishing holes in Arkansas? Any good fishing spots, or any advice to anybody out there?
I don't have any good ones yet, but last year me and Hudson Clark went to, I forgot the location, but we went trout fishing. It's Bull Shoals. Does that sound? I don't know if that sounds okay. I think we was in Bull Shoals and we did a little trout fishing, and that was fun. We was out there for a whole day and we had a blast. Definitely.
There's a lot there, and wow, hunting, fishing, gaming. If you had to pick one of the three, where are you?
I'm not really an outdoors woman, so
Neither am I.
I'm sitting inside playing video games. You know,
You legitimately do you play video games?
Yeah, I Cortana is my gaming name. If anybody wants to add me, Cortana, like Halo, get it?
I'm a mother to a 3-year-old, so I'm definitely. I mean, my gaming experience ended with Guitar Hero at least 10 to 15 years ago, and so. But you know what, girl? We're going to bring you back in. We will try. I know I got a new hire in Patrick Walsh, who's going to be coming up in just a minute, who's trying to get me to be a gamer. So,
okay.
Yes. Courtney, thank you so much for your time. It's been so much fun. We called the Hogs. Does it get any better than that? No, it's absolutely great. All right, guys. David Edelstein with our affiliate in Jackson, Mississippi, was here, has the latest from the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Take a listen.
For Mississippi State football, it's all about relationships. That's what head coach Jeff Lebby has been preaching since day one of last year at SEC Media Days when he first got the job with the Bulldogs, and it's something he repeated a lot this week in Atlanta. He especially has used that relationship attitude when talking about his starting quarterback, Blake Shapen. Shapen is coming back for a 5th year after getting cleared by the NCAA with a medical waiver after getting injured, a shoulder injury that ended his season after less than 4 games last season. Just enough to be able to come back for a 5th graduate year. But the thing is, it wasn't originally part of the plan. But with Shapen coming back as a leader of this Bulldogs team, head coach Jeff Lebby says he's a guy who can make an impact on a growing program. A lot of transfers have now joined MSU, and Starkville is looking very new. But Shapen, as a returner and an older guy, can come in and lay the framework for the future. And this time, he says, it's going to be even easier because Shapen already comes in with a year under his belt.
We've talked a little bit about that, Blake and I have. You know, as hard as it was going through what we went through, and it was incredibly challenging for him being year 2 in the offense and being able to come back. Man, I think he's got a chance to have a great year. He's been an unbelievable leader for us. His consistency, his buy-in, the way he's worked, what he's done with his body being 212 pounds for the first time ever. You know, he's had great buy-in to understanding. Man, the biggest thing for him is staying healthy. You know, and we got to do a great job of keeping him upright, keeping him clean, but excited about having him back. It's a huge advantage. And again, inside this system, regardless of where I've been, who I've coached, you look at the quarterback in year 2 of the system, and it's been a huge jump. And again, through 4 games last year, we didn't do what we needed to do while he was the starter. But you look at him statistically and from a production standpoint, the guy was playing pretty clean football, and he'll build on that in a great way, and excited about that.
The key, of course, is for Shapen to stay healthy this time around, because that's how he's going to have the most impact. But Shapen says he learned a lot from being on the sidelines, despite the itch and the mental effort that it took to learn about how to best support his team as more of a on-field coach instead of on-field player. Shapen says this year he's coming in with a whole new attitude and a deeper understanding of the game because of that experience that will turn Shapen even sharper.
I definitely didn't think I'd be back another year, but I'm blessed to be able to get a medical and be able to come back. And I'm excited for this year. It's been, a lot of time in college football, and I'm excited just to be able to show everything I got this upcoming year and be able to stay healthy. That's the biggest goal for me, and propel us to a lot of wins. It was tough. Obviously, when it first happened, you don't expect for something like that to happen, but it's a blessing, like I said, just to be able to have another year and come back. In the moment, it was tough going through rehab, things like that, but I learned a lot through the process, and I'm excited for this upcoming year. I think the biggest thing is like the X's and O's piece and the system of the offense. Being able to move a lot faster than where I was at last year is a big thing for me. And then moving with tempo, but also being able to lead other guys too. I felt like last year I was very focused on the offense, very focused on myself at a lot of times, but I feel like this year moving forward, I have a lot of opportunity to be able to lead other guys and get other guys in the right spots also.
Shapen says one of his main mentalities this season is that gratitude for being able to come back and end his college career on his own terms. And one way to do that with a lot of success, he says, is to make sure those guys are in the right spots. Guys like Brennan Thompson, who comes on in from Oklahoma as a transfer and is here at Media Days before he even put on the maroon and white jersey for the first time. He says he's joining a receiving corps that is the most talented of anywhere he's been. And Shapen says it's the most talented of anyone he's thrown to. It also includes Ridgeland graduate Aiden Williams transferring in from Ole Miss and a lot of other moves as well. And if these guys are able to do their job, even the defense says that they're able to improve this season because of the competition that they have to practice against on a weekly basis.
He understands the system so well from day one in his second year, just getting to work with a familiar face.
He's been amazing. He's been slinging it. He's been a great leader on and off the field. I think that whole room has kind of embraced that, but it all starts with Blake, obviously. And he's been a great human, a great role model, great leader on and off the field, like I said, and I'm just excited to play with him on Saturdays.
He's a great leader. He's a voice of this team. He's quarterback. And he got a year under Levy's offense, and I feel like that goes a long way with a quarterback. And he's going to have a big year this year, and I can't wait to watch him bear it out.
Levy says the area he's looking for the most improvement in from the Bulldogs is the defense. And Isaac Smith himself admitted during these SEC media days that MSU was basically in last place in every statistical defensive category in 2024. But he says with newcomers coming in and getting acclimated quickly, plus his returning leadership and experience, this defense is poised to have a strong 2025 and get the ball back quickly into quarterback Blake Shapen's hands so that he can do his job that he's come back for this season. We'll have more coverage of MSU throughout the year. Of course, kickoff first starts at Southern Miss on August 30th at noon. Not necessarily a rivalry, but when it comes to two Magnolia State teams playing each other, it's going to be hot competition. We'll have more coverage of the Mississippi teams on Southeast Sports Plus. But for now, in Atlanta, I'm David Edelstein.
David Edelstein holding it down for us, Mississippi State and Ole Miss this week. Appreciate your coverage and all of your great efforts here in Atlanta at the College Football Hall of Fame. More to come here on Southeast Sports Plus in just a moment. News 5's Patrick Walsh joins the show after the break. Stay with us.
Southeast Sports Plus, special coverage of SEC Football Media Days 2025 continues live from Atlanta.
Welcome back to the College Football Hall of Fame. Simone Eli sitting next to a good friend of the show and our newest member of the News 5 sports team, Patrick Walsh. Patrick, your first ever SEC Football Media Days. It's my 10th, so that's it's a kind of a wide gap. What have you taken away from 4 days of coverage, man?
Well, I've talked about it each day. I feel like I've gotten more comfortable each day. Day one, that was just so much thrown at me. I think I logged 14 hours, something like that.
Listen, Next Star Nation knows that you're putting in long days. It's all good. It's fine. No big deal. Listen, I know today is kind of the final day, and it's a little bit of a ghost town around here, but still some valuable content, some valuable information that we've gotten away from these teams. Eli Drinkwitz, always just a walking soundbite. It was pretty funny today talking about the playoff situation.
Yeah, I feel like he came into today knowing that, most of the media has probably left already. So he wanted to have fun, and that's what I got from this entire Mizzou team. When they were walking around today, it seemed like everyone was interacting with the media, especially Eli Drinkwitz. I know you mentioned earlier him talking about the 30-team playoff, which, by the way, I think that's crazy. I don't know how we would be able to pull that off. At that rate, we might go to a March Madness type tournament.
Listen, I would not mind that one bit. I know that you did fill out the media poll, and I think that's going to come out maybe tomorrow or later today, whenever the deadline is. I cannot relate, did not fill out the poll. I'm curious where you had Missouri, where you had Kentucky. Those were the two teams that rounded today.
I think I had Missouri near the middle of the pack. I don't remember exactly where I put them, but I think their schedule is a little bit favorable for being in the SEC. They don't have any true tests away from home. All the true tests that they have are at home, and I know for sure that they don't have to play they don't have to play Georgia. I just feel like they could make a little bit of a surprise here. They lost Luther Burden to the draft, their number one wide receiver last year. So that's going to be a guy that's tough to replace.
Yeah, no question. How about Kentucky? I know that Mark Stoops is he's a traditionalist. He's in a rough spot. It's one of those I think I mentioned earlier. Will he hang it up anytime soon? I think he's really good for the sport in the league. But is he a guy that you foresee maybe this is his last season? If Kentucky does have another maybe less than stellar type of year?
I feel really bad for Stoops because he lost his recruiting coordinator and arguably one of the best recruiters in the SEC, Vince Marrow, to their rival Louisville. So I feel bad because, he's thrown into this situation. He ends that 8-season bowl game streak last season. So, it's kind of hard going into this year. He seemed a little bit emotional today. So, I really felt bad for him.
He did. It's one of those things, man. Listen, it's hard. Coaching is hard. I'm a coach's wife. It's certainly not at the high school level, not in the SEC, but sometimes the high school in the state of Alabama feels like the SEC. But listen, we've been here for 4 days now. We've had a chance to walk around and see these amazing artifacts throughout the College Football Hall of Fame. You went inside the kind of the details, the nitty-gritty of some of the cooler things. What did you check out, and what was it like the experience today?
So each day here at the College Football Hall of Fame, they put out displays for each of the teams, and I got to actually talk to someone that was on the committee to, pick out these specific artifacts and really try to talk about the history behind them.
Yeah, and what was that like? When you saw these artifacts yourself, I know that some of these were older jerseys. What was your kind of takeaway with different helmets? I don't know specifically what you were able to see. I can look around here and see what I think is pretty neat, different shoulder pads, different things. But what did you look at today?
I got to look at a 90-year-old jersey from Texas A&M.
Really? Really? Yeah. I love that. Well, let's listen to the historian that's here at the College Football Hall of Fame and see what he had to say about these incredible artifacts here at the College Football Hall of Fame.
Well, Patrick Walsh here with Dennis Crawford, the College Football Hall of Fame historian. Dennis, what got you into being a historian?
Well, I've had a lifelong fascination with sports and also with history. And so for a while, I went to work in finance because that's what historians always do. But after about 20 years in finance, I realized I'm a historian at heart. So went back to school at Youngstown State University, went through their history program, their museum program, while volunteering at the Pro Football Hall of Fame for about a decade. And when this job became available, the skills that I had acquired by working for free at the Hall of Fame in Canton and by going through that educational program, I was just a good fit for the job, and I've been enjoying it ever since.
So we have this great Texas A&M exhibit right behind here. Can you kind of take me through the process of what it's like to get pieces like these from the field to here?
Well, there's a great deal of care that you take. When a school or an individual is kind enough to donate an artifact to the Hall of Fame, whether it's a bumper sticker or whether it's a jersey, we treat it with the same level of respect because we want it to be there for decades and decades to come so that people get an idea of not just what college football is today, but all of those steps along the evolutionary path that made it what it was. An example of this is Joel Hunt's jersey. This jersey is 98 years old. It exhibited a lot of wear and tear. It came to us as is, so obviously Joel Hunt had a rough day at Kyle Field wearing this jersey. We preserve it as best we can. We do contact experts in fabrics and textiles when needed to help elongate the preservation. But as you can see, it's still holding up pretty well. Other than that one massive tear from game action, it's held up really well for a century now.
So now I also see a Von Miller jersey in here. He just signed that contract with the Commanders. What does the process look like for someone that has their game-worn memorabilia stored here? And what's the process look like for when they want to come back?
Well, we'll put it out on display throughout the year. Only about 2% of what we have in our collection is ever out on exhibit at one time, because putting it out on exhibit is itself a little bit of a shock to the system of some of the fabric that we have. So we'll rotate exhibits, we'll rotate artifacts, and then take them back and put them into preservation. With Von Miller, we have a Texas A&M permanent display. It's geared a lot more towards the culture of the 12th man and towards the military aspect of the university. And so Von Miller's jersey will come out for special occasions such as this or such as our game of the week that we put out throughout the football season.
Man, how impressive was that? Really a blast from the past, literally a blast from the past. Patrick, your main takeaways from that conversation, I know that it was longer than the 3 minutes that we just aired, and we'll have more of that later on our program in Mobile, but what were your takeaways from the experience?
You know, it's just so cool to see artifacts from what feels like eras ago, but I was born in Cooperstown, New York, home of the Baseball Hall of Fame, but I think this is my first time I've actually been in a Hall of Fame, if you can believe it.
I mean, listen, I can hardly believe it, because quite frankly, you seem like a seasoned veteran would love to just take a moment to say Patrick Walsh, in his first month of work here at News 5, has become a critical piece to the puzzle here, getting Southeast Sports Plus on the air every single day. Great coverage, man, this week. We're so proud of you. You're absolutely killing it, man. So looking forward to another year of just a full year, I guess, football season in the Southeastern Conference, your coverage, and what it's going to look like there in Mobile for our team. Guys, we have much more to come here on Southeast Sports Plus as Gerhard Mathangani returns, and we reflect on 4 days of fun in Atlanta from the Southeastern Conference Football Media Days. Stay right here. We will return in a moment.
Southeast Sports Plus, special coverage of SEC Football Media Days 2025 continues live from Atlanta.
Welcome back to Southeast Sports Plus. Simone, Eli, Gerhard Mathangani, better known as G Money in the house, returns to the program. Man, it has been a wild ride to get to this point. Rewarding, fun, a lot of work by so many folks. But man, 4 days in the books, 16 teams, 4 each day. They're going to be the last couple two making the rounds right now. What are your biggest takeaways when you look at what this entire event has encompassed, and maybe what are you thinking like when you walk out of here? Okay, this is a team to watch.
There's so many teams that are similarly constructed going into this upcoming year. We talked about returning starting quarterbacks, and we saw that across the board this week, whether it's Gunnar Stockton at Georgia, who played just a couple of games, or a guy like Lenora Sellers, who played a ton of games, or a guy like Arch Manning, who is thrown into the fire here and is going to be expected to be a contender for a national championship. Then we have teams that are still looking for starting quarterbacks. Yeah. A team like Tennessee, a team like Alabama, who will find out their starting quarterback situation come fall camp. These are really, really interesting dynamics to me going into the year. And every year, Simone, we always know that there's a team that is towards the bottom of the preseason rankings that always, always, always proves us wrong. Yeah. Who will that team be this year?
That's a good question. Who is that team going to be? Because I don't fill out my poll. I have an idea in my head, and I think that the quarterback speech, as we know, if you had your QB one here, you're feeling pretty good about life. And I say it respectfully outside of, maybe, Auburn and a couple other teams that feel like they know who their guy is, but he's not somebody who is this returning starting quarterback who knows the system, like an Arch Manning who's hung out there in Austin for some good time. You like what you see there. Gunnar Stockton, who was thrown into the fire for Georgia in some of the biggest moments. For me, Georgia, Texas, two teams that are going to be there. I know it's so cliche, but they're going to be there. Who could be that next little echelon of teams where you're wondering, will they make a big difference? For me, I think it's LSU, man.
That's a good one.
I mean, Brian Kelly had a confidence about him for sure. Can he come in here in his fourth or fifth season now, which by the way has flown because it feels like he was just Notre Dame 10 seconds ago. Can he come back with a guy who he really likes with the swagger that this team seems to have and win some ball games that maybe they, people wondering is it a toss-up or not?
That's a great one. And I think a lot of people, considering the fact that Garrett Nussmeier is coming back and they have two wide receivers out of the transfer portal, their main running back is back this year, I think that's a great, great pick for a team that can take that next step. I think it's the Florida Gators. Ended off the season on a really great note. We talked about DJ Lagway, and we saw him here. His energy here was really high. I think Billy Napier is really confident as well. Florida to LSU always, of course, has a great rivalry, going back into the days. These are two programs, of course, their fan bases are used to success. They're used to championships. They're used to winning. I think the Florida Gators are going to be that team, but I really like LSU as well.
Listen, it's been an incredible 4 days here in Atlanta. Simone, Gerhard Mathangani, we might be the face of what this show is. We've opened up every single Southeast Sports Plus the last 4 days out here in Atlanta, but the amount of hands, the amount of people who have put effort into making this program possible, it really stems back 6 or 7 months. And want to give a quick shout out to folks who have contributed to this show, either behind the scenes or on the air over the last several days. Because, wow, has it been meaningful? Has it meant so much? Because Next Star Nation in the Southeastern Conference has really, really shown out. Guys, I'm so proud of this. I think it's something that you and I talked about early in the show, or early in the year. Is this something that can be possible? And holding it down for us, Ariel Schaefer in Birmingham, Todd Summers in Spartanburg, Jack Patterson, Tyler Redmond in Columbus, Georgia, Noah Gross and Levon Whitaker in Austin, Chessa Boucher in Baton Rouge, Sam Rothman, KCK in Knoxville, David Edelstein, a great job. You saw that a little bit ago. His commitment to covering the teams in Mississippi Courtney Mims. We called the Hogs. Does it get any better than that? It's a viral moment someone's going to post somewhere at some point from Fayetteville. Julian Minionson in Nashville. And behind the scenes, Ronald Gainsman, he's out here grinding every single day, shooting. He's our great photographer, a great friend of mine for a really long time, just committed to his craft and committed to making this great. Ryan Bowling here with the Jackson, Mississippi crew as well, shooting things there for David. And then, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of you. Obviously, I'm proud of what we've been able to put to come into the show as well. Patrick Walsh, obviously, the young gun man, comes in, adds some life to the show. And then back home at WKRG News 5, a lot of this would not be possible without the kind of a stamp of approval of guys like our news director, Gene Kirkconnell, our general manager, Jesse Greer, who said we are going to really lean into doing the CTV space and just totally reinvent what this looks like behind the scenes there in-house for us. Kendra Day and Mary Nettles, who've been listening to me talk, and they could try to get this in the show. And so it's just really, really important to me to be able to take a moment to thank all those people. Jerry Walsh, obviously, our senior vice president of local content in the company and Nexstar, being able to just really support this at the highest level. And so, man, I'm so proud. I'm so excited of what the future looks like in the Southeastern Conference with Southeast Sports Plus. And I wanted to have a moment to be able to say thank you to those people because I think they deserve it.
100%. This is an Army. This is a team that obviously has done so much. And there's, like you said, so much work goes into this. And everything that we are doing moving forward, it cannot do any of this without any of them. Yep, no doubt. Guys, thank you so much for joining Southeast Sports Plus last 4 days. For Gerhard, Mathangani, Patrick Walsh, Simone, Eli, everybody here at Nexstar Nation, thank you again for the last 4 days. And it has been incredibly rewarding to be here. We're excited for the college football season just around the corner, guys. We have really, really enjoyed what this has meant to everybody throughout all of Nexstar Nation. Absolutely. It's been phenomenal. 4 days and great. And can't wait for the college football season in just a few weeks. Yeah, it's going to be great, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here in Atlanta, Georgia, the College Football Hall of Fame for the Southeastern Conference Media Days. For everyone here that's contributed to the show for Nexstar Nation, I'm Simone Eli, and we will see you on August 4th when we kick off the season.
Live from Atlanta, special coverage of SEC Football Media Days 2025. All week from Southeast Sports Plus.